share inspiration and motivation. Everybody comes in, we have a good time, we go back to work, and we have that great day that is happening in front of us. And then if you're watching the replay, would you do me a favor and put hashtag replay in? Good morning, everyone. So glad to see you. You know, today I feel pretty, I don't know, serious about things. And I wanted to share a story with you that I think is so important about building prosperity and abundance, about building my success, about building my life and how I built my wealth. Do me a favor, if you're here, I see you popping on, put your name up and put your name over here down below and let me know that you're here and who you are that's watching. I see everybody coming on right now. And it's Wednesday, it's hump day, it's a significant day. And one of the things I want to say is I really enjoy when I have clarity about something I'm doing, whether it's a job or a project or a business, whatever I'm doing. If it's like a big job, like starting a garden or something like that, if it's a pretty big thing that I'm doing, I love clarity about how I'm going to do it, about how I'm going to break it down, how it's going to be created, and how I'm going to have the ability to make it a success. And I understand that in the beginning I didn't. It took me a while to figure it out. And here's what I want to say. Everybody wants to hear how something is easy or simple. They want to hear how something is going to get them something without much effort. But that doesn't really happen. It takes a lot of work, a lot of steam, a lot of everything. Good morning. See you guys coming on. Do me a favor and put your name down there so I know who's watching. So what happens when we have the time to build or the time to grow something that's significant? Well, no matter what it is, clarity is very important. And it's not usually the clarity of the how to. Everybody loves the how to. The how to in your mind is more important than the how to directions. It's like if I read the directions and I start this project, somehow I'm going to end up with something great. That's not what happens. A garden, a project, a business, it takes consistent effort over time. And what happens is, and what confused me, I want to tell you what confused me in the very beginning. One of the things that confused me in the very beginning was that I didn't understand the difference between having a business and having a desire. And a desire is, I want an outcome. I want an outcome and I want it fast. So that is how people design businesses. Rich people design businesses for the long term, the long haul. They're not looking at, I need money in 3, 5, 6 months. They're looking at, how am I going to create a cash flow that is going to last generations? How am I going to build it so that it lasts 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? So, you know, a while ago, Joe Kahn was on the show and he put it, not Joel Kahn, Joel Young was on the show. And he put in this quote from Dolly Parton, which I really loved. She said, my songs are going to take care of me in my old age. And I want you to look at that. So Dolly Parton is one of the best songwriters in history, along with like Carole King and Burt Bacharach. These are big songwriters in the era. And when they write a song, they sit down at the piano and they use their creativity to create a piece of music. And if they said, well, okay, this piece of music has to bring me money in 3 months or 4 months, then they wouldn't be writing a piece of music. They'd be writing a way to get money. And so the thing is, the piece of music is the art. It's the soul of the thing. And when it's beautiful, like if you write a piece of music that's beautiful, it will go on and on and on and on and on and continue to create for you. So for instance, Dolly Parton wrote the I Will Always Love You song that has been in a boatload of movies, but more, and a bunch of people have covered it. But more importantly, Whitney Houston covered it in the movie The Bodyguard. And that song took off, period. When Whitney sang it, it became a big hit, and the whole world was like, this is my big hit right here. This is the whole thing. And Dolly Parton wrote it years and years ago, and it was paying her that time 20 years later. And so Kenny Rogers covered it as well. So when Kenny Rogers covered that song, Dolly Parton made money there. Dolly Parton made money with Whitney Houston. But the thing is, you have to understand the difference between the art of songwriting and creating a product that's going to last. Same with a business. Barb says even covered that song. Yes. It's the same with a business. A business cannot be made on the short term. If you want the short-term cash, you are looking for a side hustle. And that's different from creating a business. And most people get those two creations confused. So I want to talk about a couple of side hustles that a couple of friends of mine do. I have a woman I met she's a single mom, and she's got this amazing teenage daughter, and they travel everywhere. They go everywhere together. I love that song, one of my all-time favorites. Mine too. I just love it. So what happens is they rebuild furniture that people throw out. So they go ahead and they literally kind of manage a small apartment building, and everybody leaves stuff in the apartment when they leave. So what they do is they literally refurbish a piece of furniture, then put it up on eBay, and then sell it over eBay after it's been refurbished. So from the time they find the piece of furniture or whatever it is that they're refurbishing, till the time they refurbish it, there's no money. There's no money coming in, period. They are doing the work of refurbishing it. Then they put it on eBay, and only after it's sold on eBay do they realize the profit at the back end of it. And I know another person who goes to garage sales and hunts for stuff that she can flip on eBay. That's a side hustle. You're looking for quick cash. Quick cash is different than building a business. A business is something that is a cash flow machine long-term, not right away. And it has a lot of upfront sweat equity. Sweat equity is when you go out there and you do this over and over and over and over as consistently as possible. You're doing it consistently for the rest of your life. You're setting up that cash flow. So it's kind of like when you set up a business, it's like you need to run it consistently. A side hustle you can do when you feel like it. It's like, okay, I don't need cash flow right now for this many months, so I'm not going to go do my side hustle. I'm just going to go ahead and relax and have my business sit on the side, or the side hustle sit on the side till I need it. Then suddenly when you need cash flow, you're like, okay, I'll kick a few things on eBay and bam, I got, or Amazon, I got a cash flow coming in. And what happens when you start a business with a cash flow mind is that you can create a business. But when you start a business with a side hustle mindset, you're going to fail. A side hustle mindset works with a side hustle. It does not work for having a business. And here's the thing that is very, very important distinction, because I made this mistake in my first few businesses. Hey, Lori, nice to see you, my love. I made this mistake in my first two businesses. I treated it like a side hustle. Like I'll just work when I want and blah, blah, blah. And that side hustle is legit. If you understand the difference, you have to get very clear about what you're looking for. If you're building cash flow and you want to hand it down to your next of kin, or build a business that is going to take care of you for the rest of your life, you've got some sweat equity up front, and then continued success and continued management of that business. A side hustle is a thing you do to get quick money. And what happens is people start a business and they think, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to get really rich. And they work their business like a side hustle. And the thing is, the actual thing they wanted was fast cash. And we have to understand the difference, because then you can deploy the thing that you actually need, the thing that actually is going to serve you better. Which one is the thing that's going to serve you better? In this moment, is it the fast cash that's going to serve you better? Or is it which is the thing that's going to serve you better? Which is the thing that's going to get you actually what you want to have? And so that for me is such an important distinction, that when I started understanding the difference, I had businesses, and when my business needed fast cash, I knew how to get it fast cash. I knew how to get it startup capital right away, because I knew the difference between my wanting to start a cash flow business and my wanting to have a side hustle. The side hustle is the fast cash thing. And so, hey, Suzanne, nice to see you. You're sitting out back in the surprise there, and you finally came up. Creating a business is long-term dedication. That's right, it is. And just when you think it's time to give up because it's not going to profit, it's the time to pull up your bootstraps and push there. Never quit on a long-term goal. Yes, never quit on a long-term goal. Thank you. Push through, not there. Thank you. But push through. That is so important. It's so important to have that kind of push through whenever you need it. But the distinction between the two is so important, because I know that I've done side hustles to create cash flow to start businesses. And the side hustle, I know how to do that. It's like if you say, I need $1,000, and all of a sudden, hey, Karen, nice to see you, my friend. So glad you're on this morning. So you get the side hustle right now, and you get that side hustle cash flow coming in, and then you start your business with it. It's like you know what you're doing, and you know the difference. And what happens is when you confuse the two and treat your business like a side hustle, you're going to fail. And if you treat a side hustle like it's going to be a long-term business, yeah, that's not going to work either. Barb says, yes, you've revealed the critical distinction between the side hustle and a business. Love the message. Thank you so much. It's so important to understand this distinction. And when I first started business, I'm on my 19th business, but 6 of them failed. And one of the reasons that was fundamental about the failure of each one of the 6 is that I wanted cash up front really fast. I'm like, this is going to be successful. It's going to go fast. This is going to be great. It's going to be this. And then I worked it like a side hustle. And that dropped it. And I was so disappointed because the money wasn't coming fast enough, this and that. And I didn't realize I started a business and not a side hustle. And both of them are legitimate things, but you have to understand the difference and how they can serve you. When I need fast cash, I go flip something on eBay. It doesn't get any faster than that. But when I want to build a cash flow or a business system or source, and a lot of people do this with companies that are online, like you can get confused with Amazon's FBA program or Amazon Prime or Amazon anything. If you're selling on Amazon, you can treat it like a side hustle. And there's a confusion with Amazon. It's like, if you don't understand the difference between eBay and Amazon, you can confuse Amazon as a side hustle when it's really a business. And people treat e-commerce like a side hustle when it's really a business. And the two get confused. They're like, okay, what does it take to get my e-commerce business, my Amazon business, and my eBay business off the ground? Well, you have to understand the difference in the platforms. eBay is an auction house. You can sell it over the weekend just like this. And what happens is the consumer or the buyer on eBay understands it's an auction house, and that the reason I like the auction house system of eBay is that it provides you with kind of a FOMO, which is a fear of missing out. And someone knows that the thing you put up is going to be gone by this weekend. It's not like when you go to Amazon and you're looking and you're shopping and you're like, well, I'll think about these two. I like both of them. I'm not sure which one to pick. And you start looking around going, well, I could pick this one or I could pick that one. It's not like that. On eBay, you are watching an auction because the auction is going to close and bam, there's going to be a buyer. And so everybody knows that if they're interested, they start watching that auction so they can participate in it. That's what makes it a side hustle. It's like it's a quick flip sale. Where Amazon, you can browse, you can look at, you can take a look and compare and contrast, and the sale can take a longer time. And so what happens is as a business person, you've got to know the difference between this platform and the intention of it. The intention of eBay is to go ahead and make the sale in an auction style fashion. Amazon is a long-term business. It's a thing that you have to manage long-term. But a lot of people confuse it and think, well, Amazon and eBay, they're similar. They're only similar in that they're internet-based platforms. That's the only difference is. It's kind of like, Sam's Club and Costco. Everybody thinks they're relatively the same. They're membership warehouses. Okay, but they're run differently. And you have to know how they're run if you're going to participate in them as a side hustle or a business. So let's see, they can certainly start out as a side hustle and morph into a business. You're absolutely right, Robin. Thank you for that. Susan says, a side hustle can become long-term profitable business. It depends on the attitude towards the level of dedication, income, and desire. You got that right. That's absolutely right, Suzanne. I think that's such an important distinction. Your side hustle can become a full-time business, but you have to know that if you're looking for fast cash, I want money, I want it now, and I want it within the first 6 months, you are making a side hustle. If you're developing a business, there are Jeff Bezos, he had to go the long term and build Amazon, build it. It wasn't profitable. It wasn't suddenly a cash cow overnight. Really true businesses, like, what do they say? The 5-year mark for a restaurant is when it becomes safe and most likely profitable. And there are so many things that are upgrading and changing right now that you have to think long term if you want to become wealthy, if you want to get rich. All your things have to be long-term influences. So I love and appreciate the business model of Costco as well as the management leadership style. So do I. I like, anyway, that being aside, what is going to happen for you is that you have to figure out what your short-term cash flows are and your long-term cash flows are. And you need to know the difference. How do I get short-term cash flows? How am I building long-term cash flows? And I will tell you that most long-term cash flows upfront are going to cost you money. They're going to cost you long-term money. They're going to cost you money. They're going to cost you sweat equity, which is the design and the growing of the business and the consistent effort. And when you're doing that sweat equity up front, there's not a lot of cash flow coming in. There's not a lot of cash flow. You're learning it, setting up, tweaking it. Then when you get to the point where your systems are great, you want to make it so it's scalable. Can I put someone else other than me in there to run this business and me oversee what they're doing? Can I do that? If you can do that, then over a period of time, you're going to grow. But a lot of people, they start a business and they want somebody to come in and run it when they don't know how to run it, when they don't know how to get it off the ground. If you don't know how to get this business off the ground, the person that you're bringing in, they're not going to know either. You can't just go, okay, I want you to get my business off the ground for me. That point is you've got to understand what you're doing with your business. You've got to run your businesses smart and lean. And that means when money comes in, we don't go, yay, money comes in. What happens is we forget capital preservation. And I want to talk about that. People come in and they're like, we made all this money. I'm so excited. Even on a side hustle, people get so excited. And the first thing they say is, let's go out to dinner and celebrate. And then all of a sudden that cash flow that they've made is dwindling based on them wanting to celebrate. You got to get smart with your cash flow and say, okay, I am capital preserving this for business, and put the seed money there. Sometimes the most empowering thing you can do for your business is say no. No, I'm not going to let myself celebrate. I'm going to celebrate at home with friends and cook a meal. No, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to be more consistent than I ever was. No, I have to know the difference. Get that finger up, number 3. I have to know the difference and get a little more side hustle going on. And now I have a little capital coming in, then I can do a side hustle. When that money comes in from the side hustle, it goes into the capital preservation. Most people do not preserve any part of their income, and they're broke week to week to week to week to week, trying to hustle and grind, trying to make that business work. The only way a business works is, and I can't tell you, it's like I am super conservative. Even though I have what I would consider my wealth, I am super conservative. I don't buy unnecessary. I don't, what am I going to do with the Lamborghini? Whatever it is. And so I do buy things. I tend to buy a really good used something. I look for things that are used and perfect. The only thing I don't compromise on is computers and technology. Those I get to the top of the top. I really look for that. But I want to let you know, this computer right here that you see behind me, this one I'm pointing at that kind of says art, it says Smart Life. This computer I bought in, actually it was a gift. Robin bought it for me in 2006. And if you look at it, we'll just move it a little more this way. You'll see the screens on it are still the deep screens that I used before. I don't like the long screens. I like to look at websites when I'm building them. For the deep screen, I still have the same screens from 2006. And I'm not one of those people who have to go, oh my God, I need the latest tech gadget. I don't. I use what works long-term, and I use it well, and I have discernment about what I'm doing. But the Dell right now, I have a 9550. This one was super expensive to build. I had it special made for me, etc. The iPad I have in the back is a bigger one. I use all my tech at first gen. And so I get the best one I can get because I want it to last that long. So these computer screens since 2006, okay, you can do the math. You know how old they are. My point in saying is, when you're conservative about your business, what I concentrate on is capital preservation. And when I know the difference between a side hustle and having a business that's making a cash flow and my capital preservation, you're like, well, how much do you preserve? Well, we usually do somewhere between 15 and 25% of every single sale, not just the yearly or the monthly, every single sale. Some of it automatically, it's just like it goes in here and automatically goes here, and here is the tax account. Okay, so when you look at it, capital preservation, two things: taxes, capital preservation. You want to become smart at running a business. That will help you thrive. Everything about that is thrive. And I know some people think, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have the other. Well, sit down and get clear. What do you want? Do you want a long-term business and a side hustle? Because I know a lot of people, including myself, who've done the side hustle as they've built a business, because this right here feeds you, and this feeds you long-term. This is the garden, and this is the orchard. And we have to know both of them. That's what I have for you today on the Coffee Break Show. Thank you for being here. 9 o'clock on the West, 10 on Mountain, and 12 noon. It's hump day. Let's do this. I'll see you guys later. Mwah! Peace out.